Israel's war against Hamas has been going on for over 5 weeks. Thousands have lost their lives, properties have been reduced to rubble, and the economy has taken a big hit. The war in Gaza has come as a black swan event for Israel, which was holding up amid the global economic downturn. The next report tells you how the war is costing the Israeli economy.
The country conjures up images of booming startups, high-tech innovations, and path-breaking farming. Israel is the most advanced economy with high levels of human development. For long, Israel has been seen as an oasis of stability in a volatile region. But this image seems to have taken a hit since the war against Hamas began last month. The war in Gaza has continued amid rising economic costs. With Israel in a state of war, 300,000 reservists have been called up for the fight, and the plan to replace Palestinian labor has added to labor shortages. While labor shortage is an immediate effect of the war, other lingering economic woes have come to the fore. Inflation, though down in October, is the elephant in the room. The overall decline in inflation hides the rise in the cost of key items like fruits and vegetables. But a greater worry for the economy would be deflation. That's because labor shortage and falling consumption can lower prices, cut output, and slow the economy. A prolonged war could shrink the GDP by 11% in the current quarter, making recovery a steeper task. The government is working overtime to cushion the war's economic impact. A possible economic stimulus is in the works, one that could be bigger than the COVID-era package. Israel's central bank, the Bank of Israel, has an even tougher task at hand. Not only does the central bank spur moderating growth rates, but it also needs to check the fall of the shekel. The Israeli currency fell to an 11-year low in the days following the war. The central bank has been using the forex reserves to protect the shekel from shocks. Israel has often bounced back strongly from multiple wars in the last 7 decades. Policymakers are banking on the time-tested resilience to tide over the crisis. But for now, the fog of war has engulfed the Israeli economy. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Earlier, our correspondent Adia Juneja spoke to Omer Moav, former head of the advisory board to the Israeli Minister of Finance and current professor of economics at Reichman University and University of Warwick. And this is what he had to say.
So my first question is, how is the ongoing war with Hamas affecting Israel's booming tech industry?
At the moment, I don't think there is a clear or a strong negative effect of the ongoing war on the high-tech industry in Israel. The high-tech industry suffered a lot during the last year as part of the world decline in investments in high-tech, and in particular in Israel, due to the attempts of the government to reform the legal system in Israel. That had a large negative impact on investment. But the war itself seems to have little impact on the growth of the high-tech sector, excluding the simple fact that at the moment, many of the employees in this sector, like many other sectors in Israel, were drafted to a reserve service in the military.
Can you please elaborate on how the war is affecting Israel's popularity as an investment destination?
So Israel as an investment destination was extremely popular in the world until about a year ago. Following the elections that gave rise again to Netanyahu and the, let's say, extreme right-wing nationalist parties, and the reform that they are attempting to do, which means many interpret that as a weaker Supreme Court, weaker legal system, less democracy, that by itself already made Israel as a less popular place for investment. We saw that in the significant losses in the Israeli stock exchange compared to the benchmark of Europe or the United States. So that's just less investment. So prices of stocks went down. And of course, the war doesn't contribute to reverse this trend. On the contrary, it makes things even worse. And when stocks prices go down, that's a strong indication that investment in Israel is less attractive. This is a very natural thing to happen during times of war. But the interesting and important question is, of course, the anticipation of investors regarding the future. And that depends a lot on what will happen here after this war. When will it end? Will the current government collapse and we will go for a new election and there'll be a more reasonable government? That has very important economic implications.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.